Not all missing persons reports come from hikers. Here's a verified incident from Idaho that still baffles investigators. In 2018, a 27-year-old man named Terrence Woods Jr. vanished near the Orogrande area while working on a TV documentary. He suddenly ran into the woods mid-shoot without warning and was never seen again. Search crews combed the forest for days. Dogs, helicopters, thermal drones, nothing. Locals say the area is dense, quiet, and strange. The weirdest part? Terrence was texting his family earlier that week, saying something didn't feel right, like he was being watched. Some say he might have had a breakdown. Others think he saw something he shouldn't have. But there was no trace, no footprints, no dropped gear, nothing but trees and silence. And the last text from his phone? "I'll call you later tonight." He never did.
This story was sent in by a guy named Eric. He said he moved out fast and didn't even take his security deposit. The sprinklers always turned on at exactly 2:43 a.m. Not 2:40, not 2:45, 2:43, every single night. At first, I thought it was just a weird default setting. I'd just moved into a rental house in southern Idaho out in a quiet rural area. Big backyard, patchy grass, a few trees but nothing fancy. The landlord told me the irrigation system hadn't worked in years. "Dry as a bone back there," he said. So the first night I heard the sprinkler hiss on, I was surprised. I went outside the next morning to check. The grass was damp, but it wasn't just water. The air smelled off, like chlorine, but sharper. Almost like bleach. I figured maybe the landlord was wrong. Maybe the system had kicked on somehow. I texted him, "Hey, sprinklers are on." Maybe a timer kicked in? Landlord, "No system. I removed the pump 3 years ago. Pipes should be dry. Are you sure?" I was sure, but that night I stayed up, watched the clock, and at 2:43 a.m. on the dot I heard it. A hiss, a click, and the unmistakable sound of sprinkler heads rotating. I stepped out on the porch and stared into the dark yard. The sprinklers weren't popping up like normal ones, it was just spraying from nowhere. I walked out with a flashlight. My shoes immediately soaked in something cold and acrid, not water. The smell was stronger this time. It burned my nose a little. I crouched and held out my hand. The liquid was slightly cloudy, not sticky, not oily, just wrong. And when I shined the flashlight where I thought the sprinkler head should be, there was nothing. Just wet dirt. No visible pipe, no plastic, nothing. I turned the flashlight slowly across the yard, and that's when I saw something that made my stomach drop. Footprints in the wet grass, bare feet, spaced evenly apart, leading from the middle of the yard right up to my back door. They stopped just before the welcome mat. I didn't sleep the rest of the night. The next morning, I walked the perimeter of the backyard. No gates, no sign of digging. I even went under the porch to look for pipes. I found something else instead, 3 plastic grocery bags, each one stuffed with damp clothes, folded neatly, shirts, socks, and a pair of pants, all soaking wet and smelling like bleach. I called the landlord again, told him everything. His answer? Never had a problem when I lived there, but I always locked the bedroom windows tight. That was it, no concern, just that. So I installed a camera, motion activated, faced the backyard. That night I waited again, 2:43 a.m. The hiss started, the sprinklers came on, same pattern, same smell. The next morning I checked the footage. At 2:42 a.m. the backyard was still. At 2:43 the screen glitched for half a second, and then the yard was wet. But what shook me was the person. A man. Mid-30s maybe, thin, shirtless. Just standing there, looking up at the camera. But his eyes were covered. It looked like a plastic bag was over his head, tied at the neck. His arms hung limp. He didn't move. He just stood there, dead center of the yard, as the sprinklers sprayed around him. At 2:46, he was gone. No movement, no walking off screen, just gone. I backed up the footage, checked every frame. He appeared out of the glitch and disappeared the same way. I sent it to the landlord, no reply. That day, I drove into town and asked around. At a hardware store, I mentioned the address casually. The older guy behind the counter squinted. "You in the Clark house?" he asked. I nodded. He said, "That place has a weird history. Last guy that lived there kept to himself. People said he cleaned everything with bleach, even mowed in white gloves." "What happened to him?" "Don't know. Cops found the yard soaking wet one night. No body, just clothes, folded in a bag like he walked out of himself." I moved out that week. Didn't wait for the refund, didn't care. But before I left, I walked out to the center of the backyard one last time, where I'd seen the man standing. I scraped at the soil with a stick. About an inch down, I hit plastic. I pulled it out. A bag, inside, a damp undershirt, and a Polaroid photo. The image? Me, standing in the yard, taken from the exact angle of the back porch. I never took that photo. This one came from a guy named Brett. And if you ask him now, he won't hike alone anymore. Ever. Trail post 17 wasn't there yesterday, I'm sure of it. I'd hiked the same loop 2 days in a row, same path, same rhythm, same turnoffs. It was a marked forest trail just outside McCall, Idaho. A quiet one, nothing fancy. Just a 5-mile loop with numbered wooden posts to help you stay on track. There were 16 posts. I knew this because I'd walked it plenty. You hit 1 through 8 on the way in, and 9 through 16 as it loops back toward the parking lot. But this time, just past post 12, something felt off. The trail had a weird bend in it I didn't remember, and there it was, post 17. It looked just like the others, weathered wood, number etched in black, except this one pointed off trail. I stood there a minute, checking my map. Nothing about a post 17, no fork shown, just a thick part of the woods to the east. At first, I figured the rangers had added a new detour, maybe a new scenic path or an alternate loop. But when I looked closer, the trail behind the sign wasn't a trail at all. Just brush. No footprints, no wear. It was like someone had just stuck a post in the ground and called it a trail. I shrugged it off, kept going on the loop, and finished the hike. Didn't even think about it again until the next morning. I went back out, same trail, same plan. But when I got to the spot where post 17 had been, it was gone. I stopped cold, looked around, no trace, no extra bend in the path, just post 12, and then straight on to post 13 like it always had been. And that's when I saw the carving. On the back of post 12, someone had scratched something into the wood. Just one word, Brett. My name. I froze. That post had been blank before, I was certain. I thought maybe it was a coincidence. Maybe someone else named Brett had come through and made the mark. I mean, it's not a rare name, but still, I couldn't shake it. The next day, I came back again, but this time I brought a permanent marker. I circled the Brett carving in black, just to be sure it wouldn't change. I hiked the loop like usual, nothing strange. But when I came back the next day, the circle was gone. And now, post 14 had something new on it too. Etched into the corner, turn back. I checked every post. Every single one. The numbers were right, the locations were the same. But there were now small carvings on every other one. Little phrases. Words. Are you lost yet? You're not alone. Look up. I didn't. I finished the loop fast and jogged back to my car. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept thinking about the fake post 17 and that overgrown trail it pointed to. It felt like it was waiting for me to follow it. like it was testing if I would. The next morning, I went back. I brought a crowbar. Not sure why. Maybe I wanted to rip the post out of the ground and prove something. But the forest was dead quiet when I got there. And post 17 was back. Same spot, same weird bend in the trail. Same direction into thick woods. This time, there was something else. Carved just beneath the number, "Welcome back." And below that, a date. Today's date. I didn't touch it, didn't even take a picture. I just turned and walked straight back to my car. But when I got home and dumped my day pack, something slid out of the bottom. A strip of wood. Looked like it had been snapped from a post, etched into it, just like the others. See you tomorrow. I haven't hiked that trail since. This one was sent in by a woman named Sarah. She says her family still doesn't know how it ended up in their house. The phone wasn't part of the auction listing. We were just looking for a dresser. My husband and I had driven out to a farm auction about 40 minutes outside Boise. The place had been in some old man's name. Nobody seemed to know much about him. No kids, no spouse, just decades of junk stored in barns and sheds. The dresser looked solid. Real wood, not that particle board junk. 3 big drawers, 2 small ones at the top, nothing fancy. We won the bid for $60, tossed it in the truck and drove home. We didn't even open it until 2 days later. That's when we found the phone. It was wedged behind one of the big drawers, had probably fallen out of the back or been hidden there. It wasn't a smartphone, just a cheap flip phone. No logo, scratched to hell, the kind you get at a gas station for emergencies. I popped the back off. Battery was still in it. Out of curiosity, my husband plugged it in using an old cord we had in the junk drawer. The screen blinked to life. 1 bar, 1 icon, voicemail, no missed calls, no texts, just 200 voicemails. We stared at it for a minute, then hit play. The first message was static, barely audible. Then a voice whispered, "It's still yours. Take it back." Click. Next message. Same voice, same words, no change in tone. "It's still yours. Take it back." We played the first 10, all the same. My husband laughed it off. Creepy old guy probably recorded one weird voicemail and kept resending it. But I noticed the timestamps. They weren't sent all at once. The voicemail spanned 6 years. Same number, same message. Dozens per year. All from the same contact labeled private. We decided to go through a few more later that night, just to see if anything changed. Around message 43, something was different. The voice said, "Why'd you leave it?" Pause. It doesn't belong to them. Click. We both looked at each other. Who was them? What was it? By message 60, the voice got more direct. It started saying our names. "Sarah, Brad, take it back." We stopped playing them around message 80. It was too weird. I tried calling the number that left them, straight to voicemail. My husband, still half convinced it was a prank, took the phone outside and put it in the garage. That night, the landline rang. We barely use it. Only have it for internet bundles. It never rings. I answered. Static. Then the same whisper, "It's still yours. Take it back." Click. I hung up and unplugged the phone. The next day, I told myself it was just a weird coincidence. Old farm stuff has energy, right? That's what people say. I went out to the garage to check on the phone. It was gone. I asked Brad. He swore he hadn't touched it. We searched the entire garage. Nothing. I even checked the truck bed. Empty. Later that afternoon, we heard the bedroom drawer slam shut. We rushed upstairs. The dresser was closed, but something was rattling inside. Brad opened the middle drawer. The phone was in it. Powered off. Just sitting there like it never left. He threw it out. I watched him walk it to the dumpster down the street and toss it in. That night, we got another voicemail, But this time, it showed up on my cell. No number, just unknown. I played it. Why'd you give it away? It's still yours. Take it back. We moved the dresser to the front yard the next morning. Free pickup sign taped to the front. It was gone by noon. That was 3 months ago. Last week, we had a new neighbor move in next door. A super friendly guy. Talked my ear off about fixing up his kitchen. Then he mentioned he got a great deal on a solid wood dresser from someone just outside town. Said it was practically new. I didn't say a word, but last night I heard our landline ring again. It was 2:13 a.m. I didn't answer, but the voicemail was already saved. Same voice, just 4 words this time. It's not over yet.